Imagine walking into a room and instantly commanding respect without saying a word. Picture having conversations where people hang on your every statement, not because you're loud or desperate for attention, but because you possess something far more powerful. This is Stoic charisma. Unlike the flashy, attention-seeking behavior we see everywhere today, true charisma comes from within. It's magnetic, authentic, and completely effortless. Today we're diving deep into the ancient secrets that can transform how others perceive you forever. Chapter 2: The Paradox of Attraction. Here's the mind-bending truth that most people never understand. The harder you try to be charismatic, the less charismatic you become. Think of charisma like a gravitational field. A massive star doesn't strain to pull planets into its orbit. It simply exists and everything naturally gravitates toward it. The Stoics understood this phenomenon 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the known world, wrote in his private journal, "How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does." This wasn't about ignoring people, it was about finding that inner gravitational pull that makes others want to orbit around you. Chapter 3: The Three Pillars of Stoic Charisma. Picture three massive columns supporting an ancient Roman temple. Each pillar represents a fundamental aspect of Stoic charisma. The first pillar is emotional independence. When you're not constantly seeking validation from others, something fascinating happens. People start seeking validation from you. It's like becoming the calm center of a storm, while everyone else spins around you. The second pillar is present moment awareness. While others are mentally time traveling to their anxieties about tomorrow or regrets about yesterday, you're fully here, fully engaged. This presence is intoxicating to people who rarely experience it themselves. The third pillar is philosophical detachment. This doesn't mean being cold or uncaring. It means having the wisdom to engage deeply while holding outcomes lightly. You become like water, adapting to any container while maintaining your essential nature. Chapter 4: The Neuroscience Behind the Magic. Let's dive into what's actually happening in people's brains when they encounter Stoic charisma. When someone is desperate for attention, their nervous system broadcasts what scientists call high beta brainwaves. These frequencies literally make other people feel anxious and want to escape. It's like walking around with an invisible alarm system that pushes people away. But when you embody Stoic principles, your brain operates in alpha and theta frequencies. These are the same wavelengths associated with meditation, creativity, and deep relaxation. People's mirror neurons pick up on this calm energy and automatically start matching it. They feel better just being around you. It's like having a superpower that works on a subconscious level. No one knows why they're drawn to you, they just are. Chapter 5: The Conversation Alchemy. Most people approach conversations like verbal ping pong, waiting for their turn to speak. The Stoic approach is completely different. Imagine you're an anthropologist studying a fascinating alien species. Every person becomes genuinely interesting because you're not trying to impress them. You're trying to understand them. This shift in perspective is magnetic. When someone asks you a question, instead of immediately firing back an answer, you pause. You consider. You respond thoughtfully. This creates what psychologists call conversational depth, something rare in our rapid-fire digital age. Epictetus taught his students to listen more than you speak, and when you do speak, let your words carry weight. In a world full of noise, thoughtful silence becomes incredibly attractive. Chapter 6: The Energy Management System. Think of your personal energy like a bank account. Most people are constantly making withdrawals through worry, complaint, and emotional reactions to things beyond their control. Stoics have discovered the ultimate energy hack. They only spend emotional currency on things within their influence. Everything else gets the philosophical equivalent of a shrug. This creates an energy surplus that others can literally feel. Picture walking into a room after most people have spent their day stressed about traffic, annoying coworkers, and social media drama. You've spent the same day focused only on your responses and choices. You're operating with a full battery while everyone else is at 20%. Who do you think people will be naturally drawn to? This isn't about being emotionless, it's about being emotionally intelligent enough to invest your feelings wisely. Chapter 7, The Practical Implementation. Let's make this practical. Tomorrow morning, try this experiment. Before any social interaction, take 3 deep breaths and remind yourself, I have nothing to prove and nothing to lose. Notice how this shifts your entire energy. You'll stand differently, speak differently, and listen differently. When someone tries to provoke an emotional reaction from you, respond like a scientist observing an interesting phenomenon. That's fascinating that you see it that way. Tell me more about your perspective. Watch how quickly conflict transforms into connection. Practice what Seneca called the view from above. Before entering any social situation, mentally zoom out and see the bigger picture. Everyone there is just a human being dealing with their own struggles and insecurities. This perspective naturally generates the compassion that true charisma requires. Chapter 8, The Warning Signs. Here's where most people sabotage themselves. They learn these principles and immediately try to use them to manipulate others or inflate their ego. True Stoic charisma cannot be faked. It's not a technique you apply externally. It's a fundamental shift in how you relate to yourself and the world. If you catch yourself thinking, I'm being so stoic right now, you've already missed the point. The moment you start keeping score, counting how many people are attracted to your new charisma, you've fallen back into the trap of external validation. Real charisma is a byproduct of inner work, not a goal in itself. Remember, the most charismatic people in history weren't trying to be charismatic. They were simply being authentically themselves while operating from principles that naturally attract others. The ancient Stoics understood something that modern psychology is only beginning to rediscover. True attraction comes not from what you do, but from who you are. Not from your performance, but from your presence. When you stop straining to impress others and start focusing on becoming the kind of person you respect, something magical happens. You develop the very qualities that others find irresistibly attractive. Confidence without arrogance, strength without aggression, engagement without neediness. This isn't about becoming cold or detached from human connection. It's about connecting from a place of fullness rather than emptiness. When you're not desperately seeking something from others, you're free to genuinely appreciate and enjoy them. Start today, not by changing how you act, but by changing how you think. Focus on what you can control, accept what you cannot, and watch as your natural charisma emerges like the sun breaking through clouds. The world needs more people who attract through authenticity rather than manipulation. The Stoics have been waiting 2,000 years to share this secret with you. Now it's time to put it into practice.